let's go back to the top 6, wherever it was. Anyhow, yes. And this has always been the problem with adaptation, and that is that the developing countries, which by and large did not create the problem up to now, are the ones most at risk and have the least resources to take Western-style remediation actions into account. And that there is, for example, there are ways to protect coastlines, but they take a very long time. And that's through, in some cases, it'll be ecological engineering. For example, after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, the discussions were revived. They had started back in the 1960s and 70s. And the idea was that you should undo a little bit of what the Army Corps of Engineers had done to the flow of the Mississippi, which was to confine it within its banks and cause a heavy stream coming south to the Gulf. And that if you could re-divert about 1/3 of the flow and just let it go right into the Gulf and rebuild the wetlands surrounding New Orleans, you'd build a barrier of marshland that would protect the city against storm surges, and at the same time would restore an indigenous fishing culture which had lived in those bayous for a very long time. If you did that, it would take about 30 years to rebuild those marshlands. Okay? And at that point, then, the city would have more protection against storm surges and hurricanes, more. It's not a perfect solution, but it's something you should do. And it's a lot cheaper than trying to build a wall around this entire area. And so there are places where you could do this kind of soft engineering, but you have to let nature, once unleashed, take its course, and that will take time, which is another reason why it is so important to be able to predict when these things will occur to the 10-year scale, which is why it's so important to keep track of all the, on a 10-year basis, of all the melts of the snows, for example.